Thank you so very much.
So I will do the introduction talk, and then I will let Victoria and Kyrylo do the rest of the talk. So first of all, Roskvit and Roman, thanks a lot for the opportunity to be able to share our experience of Gostomel with a broader audience in Ukraine. A little bit background. So our company exists since 17 years, where we are day-to-day practicing circular economy. Last year in the world, we had about 350 projects, and we reused about 20 million tons of waste into a new life. When the war started, or the big invasion started on the 24th, it became obvious for us that we, as a company, have a duty to help and assist Ukraine in our best possible capacity to help with the reconstruction of Ukraine. And more or less 1 year ago, we started with the project of Gostomel. We started to establish our legal entity in Ukraine. And currently we have a staff in Ukraine of 8 professionals. Since they are Ukrainians, they are learning extremely fast. We are very proud on our Ukrainian team. And that's also the reason why it will be our Ukrainian team which will share with you the experience of Gostomel. We have 2 offices in the meantime in Ukraine. We have an office in Kiev. We have an office in Mykolaiv. And if there are communities present in this meeting who would like to go further with us, we are more than open to look to your situation and trying to propose how we could help you by implementing circular economy based on our experience abroad and in Ukraine. I have the tendency to talk a lot, but I will give the floor to the wonderful team of Kyrylo and Victoria. They are doing a wonderful job. But before I give the floor to them, when we started in Ukraine, a lot of people said that circular economy is not possible in Ukraine on an economical base. We have proven in Gostomel that we can earn money by using rubble as a raw material for construction. So we are not anymore in the theoretical, philosophical talk. We are on a practical talk shared with our team. So there is no excuse, to our opinion, not to use the rubble or deconstruction material as a resource for the reconstruction of Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Героям слава! Барт, до речі, у нас сьогодні є досить багато часу. Ти можеш ще долучитися потім, якщо буде...
So today we have a lot of time, and so Bart, you're welcome to join our discussion later, because we don't have a representative of the Gostomel community. There would be a lot of questions, I guess, on the project, so you will be welcome to give some clarification. And Victoria takes the floor. Allow me to introduce myself. I am a project manager of NeoEco, and I am dealing with the project with in Gostomel. And my name, Kyrylo continues, is Kyrylo Chernyshuk. I am the director of the company, the Department of NeoEco in Ukraine. And I would give the floor to Victoria today, because she is the project leader and she knows it in the minute details. But started with the fact that with the support of the French government, we managed to establish a company in Ukraine titled NeoEco Ukraine. And our company represents the company that has already 17 years of experience, of international experience in many countries. And we decided to use the experience of NeoEco, international experience, in Ukraine. We understand that during the war, it is rather a risky business. But we understand that there is no other way and no other chance to deal with the ruination waste, and we must recycle them. When we analyzed the situation, we understood how many million tons of construction waste and ruination waste is emerging now, and we must do something with it. So these practices suggested by the company are rather relevant for Ukraine, and we tried to use these practices in a real project. And today we would like to talk about Gostomel, why we chose Gostomel as our pilot site, and we would like to show you that it is possible to be implemented in Ukraine. It is valuable, and it can be upscaled to other Ukrainian cities, not only to be limited by Gostomel. We understand how many towns and cities are now being ruined and how much waste we have in Ukraine, and we understand where they go to in Ukraine and how they could pollute our environment, which is already not very healthy. And we understood that we have only two ways to treat this waste. Either we recycle them and make new construction materials out of them so that they could be used to reconstruct the ruined buildings, or these waste will be transported to a landfill, and then it could cause an ecological catastrophe. How we started? We understood that we must use the experience that NeoEco has and applied to Ukraine, and we have selected Gostomel because this is a town next to the Antonov airport. Maybe you have heard about the Mriya aircraft. This was the largest cargo aircraft in Ukraine, and there is also a military township settlement next to it, and this was one of the first towns that was struck by Russia, and there are a lot of ruined houses in this town. The residents require help to reconstruct it. Though Gostomel was not exactly a famous town, a town on the news, because Gostomel, Bucha and Irpin got much more coverage, but we have selected Gostomel, and Gostomel was glad to cooperate, and we decided to take it as our pilot project in Ukraine. I would like to show you the pictures. This is what we saw in Gostomel. You could see the scale of ruination. These houses cannot be rebuilt. We must only demolish them and then build new houses on this site. And NeoEco is focusing, is specializing in the processes of preparation for demolition and waste recycling. We have prepared our own methodology, and we are using it now in our project. Besides, we have finalized our works on demolition and sorting the waste. We can share this experience. For us, as I said, this is a pilot project, and we were going through all these stages for the first time. We definitely faced a few challenges, but we have managed, and we have managed within a short period of time. We started the demolition work with preparation. So we started with preparation, and we started our preparation by sorting out the hazardous waste. When we faced a demolished house, we would sample it for hazardous substances. We would take samples to the laboratory, and we needed to understand what kind of waste we were dealing with, whether these waste will contain hazardous substances, and whether the waste we get can be recycled. Preliminary results were rather positive, so we started our preparation for the demolition. This is a very important stage. You cannot skip it, because we needed, before demolishing, to sort out hazardous elements like asbestos roofing materials and PVC. And as you know, asbestos is extremely hazardous, and you need to be very careful when working with it. So you need to extract it, and you need to work with it wearing a mask and a protective suit. And this element, asbestos, causes cancer. You need to be aware of that. So you need to be very careful with it. So we needed to sort it out, and we were stacking it in these big bags. And this hazardous asbestos was utilized, was treated by a company that has a specialized license to work with asbestos. So our goal was not to allow these hazardous substances to get to the landfill, because their pollution starts, they pollute the groundwaters, and people will consume them. Future generations would be in danger. You need to start thinking from it now. Also, we have sorted out the foam plastic, polystyrene, and we had to do it because then our building waste would be not suitable for recycling. So we had to sort these two materials out, and then we had to start the demolition. For demolition, we have selected local Ukrainian companies. We have selected them by way of a tender. We looked at their experience, the available specialists. They had to have the equipment that would match our requirements, because we had a clearly written down technology. We had all the TORs that were provided to the subcontractors. We found a very experienced Ukrainian company equipped with all the necessary machinery. They had the specialists, and together with this company, we started demolition and finalized it very successfully. We demolished 4 houses in Gostomel. One of them was practically demolished, and all the works that we have completed, we did with the specialized equipment, including the shredder, the sifter. So all these machines are available in Ukraine. You can find this equipment. You have the opportunity to use it. And all the waste that we got out of this demolition were sorted, so that later we would have an opportunity to recycle them and to understand which construction waste could be used, which could be utilized and dumped in the correct way. So we have sorted out plastic, timber, and everything that we could reuse, we would reuse. We have got a fraction of brick, of concrete, of the materials that we could use later. And these are the materials which we could use as in the construction of the roads, building sites, etc. And we also got well, quite a lot of more materials. You can see here we have the pictures using the heavy machinery, and we also got concrete, shredded concrete, and we were very interested to get that because we can use it directly in construction, and we use specialized machinery that is used in to shred this. We got the 520 and 05 fractions, and we are planning to use these materials to produce new concrete. And we also did quite a lot of testing, and testing is essential in our work because we must analyze and test everything. We must understand where we can use the materials that we get, and we must follow the effective legislation. Presently, we are waiting for the results of the tests from the companies dealing with concrete manufacturers, for us to understand how to use this material that we got once again. Our ultimate goal is to use all our demolition waste locally, to process them locally, to, should it be necessary, manage the hazardous waste correctly, but to prevent these hazardous waste from getting into the environment, because landfills are now overfilled. When Ukraine will actively start its reconstruction, we understand that this amount of unprocessed waste can lead to an ecological catastrophe. We must start now. We must create methodologies and upscale them. And our project shows that Ukraine has all the necessary resources. It has the equipment, it has the specialists, and we are also creating jobs, jobs for the people in this, and we can share our experience because, you know, for the specialists, there were quite a lot of challenges too. So for them, it was good experience, and they were learning together with us. And just two more words about the project. Using the site of the demolished houses, we would like to build new housing, and we would like to return those IDPs back. Some people from this plot are actually living now in garages, and we would like to build this this town even better for them, and so that it would be comfortable, so that it would meet all the regulations, and so that it would be a 15-minute city. The advantages for Ukraine that the circular economy has include quite a lot of things, and we just present a few here on the slide. Of course, waste management must be legalized at the top level. We must hold the constructors and developers responsible for waste management. We must raise awareness of local residents about waste management. We mustn't put it off till later. We must act now. We understand that up to 98% of construction waste can be recycled, and so can be upcycled too. We are absolutely transparent as a company. We are sharing our experience. We are telling about our project everywhere. We are participating in all sorts of conferences. We are publishing, we are giving interviews. So we are open for communication. We are eager to share our experience and to support Ukraine. So another advantage is ecologically friendly waste management, and also it is an opportunity to cooperate with local and international designers and artists, which is quite an interesting area of work. Of course, there are some challenges, yes, and there were quite a lot of skeptics who I wouldn't say didn't believe us. I'd rather say they were apprehensive, they were cautious about our pilot project. They didn't see the end result of what we were doing, but we insist that there is a huge need to reconstruct Ukraine in a circular way. We need to return our residents back to their houses. We also need to make it in an ecologically friendly way. We also anticipate the coming deficit of construction materials in Ukraine. And here, the methodology of recycling will be crucially urgent. And of course, it would be good if circular economy were used more actively in Ukraine. We must support this, because we are definitely going to face a huge problem of construction and ruination wastes, and it is a problem for the whole Ukraine, and I can say the landfills are overflowing and there the materials are simply dumped, and asbestos is not sorted out, and now it is polluting our environment. And Kyrylo would like to add here that even in the Kiev region, where ruination was rather moderate, and European Bucha were on the news a lot. I personally visited the Kharkiv region, the Mykolaiv region, the Kherson region, and I can say that there the situation is much more grave. But even now, and even in the Kiev region, we have quite a lot of illegal landfills where people are taking their ruination waste to the field or to some groves and dumping them there. And this waste will include hydrargyrum, will include batteries, and definitely this waste must be recycled, but it is now lying in the middle of a field, agricultural field, and it is polluting the soil, the groundwater, and the foodstuffs that are being grown in the neighboring fields. So this is a challenge, and we must face it now. Also, I would like to say that certain international organizations are starting to deal with this problem. Unfortunately, there is theory and there is practice. In real life, even if we have some international organizations providing huge funds to, say, demolish and manage waste, construction and ruination of waste, a local contractor would, and we know such specific cases, would use this money not to take this waste to a landfill in a proper way. Rather, it is dumped in some secret places nearby, and so it is done in a clandestine way. So this is the situation, and Victoria continues. We must start with raising awareness of our people about waste management. And it's not only about construction ruination waste. We could talk about plastic, we could talk about other hazardous materials, but we must raise awareness. People must understand how something can be recycled, how something can be reused. It must be clear, it must be transparent and accessible to people, and it must be supported at the national level.